Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And today will be a very interesting one. At least I think it will be. This is another one of the 2012 US MREs that was given to me by Aletha. This is packed by MRE, so it will have the double bag inside. I think the date code on this one kind of got messed up, but this is a menu that I had not heard of. A menu 6 beef roast with vegetables. And it got me curious. Is it like the beef stew? Was it something that would eventually become the beef stew? Or just a different alternative? Or what? So then I decided to get digging through my box of Ration stuff, and look what I found. This is a beef stew, and the date code here is 2366. So I am guessing that this is a 2012 beef stew as well. I mean, it can't be 22 because I've had this for quite a few months. So I'm actually going to heat up both of these and we'll compare them. So anyway, let's get into this thing. And, oops, sorry, I keep bumping the dang foam melt. See how well this peelable seal works. Sometimes these things can be a pain in the dupa to open. And it's going to work this time. So it actually had a good solid open without ripping the bag. So as always, I use the Ration bag as a trash bag. So MRE does this double pack. See, there are 2 boxes because dessert is in a box. I'm glad that they got rid of the boxes. For one thing, the MREs are more compact without them. But at the same time, they did provide protection for the pouches. But these pouches have held up pretty good. Oops, sorry about that. I better fix that. Cherry blueberry cobbler. That is a dessert. So here is the box for the beef stew with the vegetables. Or the beef roast with vegetables and gravy. Keep wanting to call it beef stew. See, 2059. Let's see, DeCarlos and Rachel Sunshine. Mike is here. Just checking to see who all has come in so far. Chocolate chunk cookie. awesome paired with the cobbler. So you know what I'm going to do with these two. Got the accessory pack. And I can already see something that I'm not happy with. That's a Splenda. I already know about that nonsense. Got a wheat snack bread. Cocoa beverage powder. Chocolate peanut spread. Got the spoon, which is in a different packaging than what you would get now. The plastic feels different. I've got the FRH, which I'm obviously not going to use. The beverage bag, which I'm not going to use. But I do save all these. These make great storage bags for if you want to put something in another bag that is susceptible to moisture penetration. Use this to keep it dry. If you have water purification tablets, you fill this up with water, drop a tablet in it, wait the required amount of time to treat the water. So these are very good for that. So I save all these. And I save all these heaters because if I need to, I can throw a salt packet in there. Now we'll see what is in the accessory pack. Got the creamer, the non-dairy creamer. Got the salt packet, which would help kickstart the FRH. Got the Splenda, which I am not going to use, but I save these because I give them to someone who can use this, who actually needs a sugar substitute. Got the mint gum, got the wet wipe, the rear roll, and a type 3 coffee. Would have preferred type 2, but hey, I'll take a type 3. So, unless I do the Army Mocha, I would have to get another mug. But I want to check out that cocoa powder on its own. Let's see, we got some trash here. Okay, see if I can. Well, I want to do something else, but let's see. Oop, I don't want to do that to the wrong person. I'm going to take care of this trash. There we go. Done. There is Pete in the house. So I took out that trash. So the things that I'm not going to use, I'm going to hold off to the side. See, this does not have a cold drink in it, so I would substitute my drinking jar for another mug. And I will put my water bottle back in the fridge where I've been keeping it. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just drop those in there. Going to open up these boxes. So this is the pouch for the roast beef with veggies. It looks kind of like it's flat. And then this is the beef stew one. See how they look. They're slightly different. This is how you might get your chicken breast or your chunk chicken. Or maybe the patties. Now I'll open up this cobbler. There's a date code on the cobbler. If I would have known there was... See, even the cobbler is in this style of pouch that this is in. If I would have known there was going to be two... Of course, this one here has the tear notch that goes across this way. So does the cobbler, and they put two of them here, which is kind of odd. But this one has a tear notch going across this way, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to cut it across this way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go take these into the kitchen. I'm not going to put this in the pot. I'm just going to let it sit on the stove next to the burners. And then I'm going to put these in the pot because I really don't have time to switch to a bigger pot, although I could. There is someone north of the border. Food Forest Permaculture in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Anyway, I'm going to go get these in the kitchen. I'm going to take my drinking jar and my water bottle back as well and substitute those for another mug because I don't want to repeat what I did to a drinking jar that my mom gave me years ago. I busted it by doing hot drinks in it too many times. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Gonna just rip these open and get them in the mugs. There is a Type 3 coffee. Well, that didn't rip very well. Creamer is perfect. And I brought some sugar from the kitchen. Now the cocoa, even though it's in the shaker bag, I'm going to do it in this mug. This is the one that I won from our late brother Will over at GIT Preparedness. He was a veteran. He also worked in several different industries, oil, construction, and he was doing leather work. I have 2 of his creations, his leather pieces, that I'm very proud of. So I got my kettle here. That mug will start to change. I'm going to get these stirred up. I'll turn this around so sorry about the shakiness. I was moving this so I could get this down so you can see that it lightens up like Old Smoky's mug that has a Bob Ross's face on it. I'll get this back up to where it belongs. And hope that this dumb thing doesn't want to say that I'm not in landscape mode, because it will do that. There we go. Yeah, sorry, yeah, I wanted to do that, but you know, I'm repositioning this so There we go. That should be better. But I hope you got a good look at that. Some people have done these cocos cold, but they do not mix well at all. This is just the wheat snack bread. I had to shake it down because it was right up at the top. Oxygen absorber in there. Then for those just coming in late, this is a 2012 menu 6 beef roast with vegetables. And I have a beef stew pouch also getting heated up. Actually, I'm going to put the bread over here. And the cookie, this is the let's see if we can focus on here. A toffee crunch cookie. Again, I have never had this cookie before, but it has made an appearance in a couple other videos by some other YouTubers. That's the bottom side. No oxygen absorber in with the cookie. But it came out whole, which is nice. I'm going to actually break a piece off this cookie. And I'll put it down here. Slide this. Then I have the cobbler warming up on the stovetop. In fact, I just put it in a metal dish over top of the burner that my kettle was on, that I used to boil the water. So it's just getting some indirect heat. So I'm going to scroll back through the chat. See, there is Puppy Breath in the house. Seeing if I missed anybody. And hopefully there's Dream Creations and Adventures in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Just scrolling back to see if Hygge Homestead is here. Seeing if I missed anybody else. There's a lot of chat that I did miss while I was in the kitchen because I was taking a little extra time than normal. I'm not going to bother trying to read all of it. Just wanted to see if I missed anybody. Well, happy birthday to whoever is or just had a birthday or who will have a birthday fairly soon. There is Quint in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I'm going to go ahead and break this bread open, see what it looks like on the inside. It smells old, but it doesn't smell nasty. So I wait for everything else to heat up. I'm going to go ahead and take a test nibble of this bread. It just tastes like it's been around a while. I'm not getting that rancid sensation in my mouth. But I am going to go ahead and take a sip of my coffee. These breads are very, very dry. They need something. And this thing would be a morale booster and a half for anyone out in the field who would have this in their MRE. Granted, it's not at all like Nutella or some of the other chocolate or chocolate nut spreads that are in foreign rations. But having this would definitely be a morale booster, I'm sure. And because it has chocolate in it, it would work equally well on the bread or the cookie. And I'll go ahead and take a bite of this chocolate, this chunk, toffee chunk cookie. I'm going to find the piece that has see the dark spot. I don't know if you can see that. That would be the toffee chunk. Though the bits are not as big as they would be if it was the chocolate chunk. Now, cocoa is perfectly fine. So I am going to go ahead and open this after I get the hot items from the kitchen. So I'll be right back. I got a paper towel so I can dry these off. Now this is the main from this MRE, the roast beef with vegetables. And I'm going to cheat. Just because I can. Wow. That was definitely not what I expected. See that big old lump fall out? These pouches do get hot when you boil them, but I'd rather do it that way than and make sure that everything is thoroughly heated. And I'm sliding the empty pouches back into the boxes. And is I'm going to take the beef stew and I'm going to dump it out onto this plate. So I'm going to have to raise my my phone mount up a bit so I can get everything in view after I do this. Raise this up. There we go. Now everything will be visible. And I apologize for that shakiness. This one is not quite so hot to handle. There we go. So I got the beef stew here. And then this is beef roast with the slab. I'm actually going to try to get that cobbler in so that it doesn't escape. Got a piece of that, a little bit of that gravy there. So the vegetables look the same. It's just that the meat is in a different form. But this looks like a processed meat. It doesn't have the texture of an actual piece of roast beef because the meat is more of a fine texture. So this is just a piece of the meat by itself. Now coming over here to the beef stew, there's a P on there, so. That's cubed. And the flavor is a little bit different. This has more of a tangy type flavor to it. But this beef stew, it's more processed than even this, but this is still heavily processed. No, some people would probably not go for this. Now this one has a mushroom in it. I happen to like mushrooms, so I enjoy that. But the other vegetables in here are very, very soft. The potatoes in the beef stew are a little bit firmer than the potatoes in this roast beef. Both of these versions are very easy to chew, which for some people would be a very good thing. That chocolate peanut spread just has the slightest hint of the chocolate, and it still feels like the dryness of the peanut butter. But it's still not bad at all. Here's Bountiful Harvest. Welcome. First time seeing you here. This is that cobbler that I warmed and I put over pieces of the cookie, the toffee chunk cookie. The cobbler itself has a good berry flavor, but it has no texture other than, at least to me, it doesn't have much texture other than fruit. But when you crumble up the cookie and then you pour the cobbler on top of it, that really makes for a good dessert. And you know what else cookies are good for? Dunk it in the coffee or the cocoa. Although the coffee does kind of cover up the taste of the toffee, and I'm sure the cocoa would even more. But this meat is pretty easy to cut up. It does have a little texture, almost like a pulled beef, but a roast beef would not be as processed as this. It would just be slices of the meat. And of course, I'm going to try a little something different just because I can. The sauce definitely takes over on the bread. It cuts through the dryness. This is the beef stew. Same thing, it cuts through the dryness of the bread. But there's more sauce in the beef stew than the roast beef, so there's a little bit less of the gravy. But personally, I would just eat either of these without the bread. Now, if it had crackers, that would be a different story. I would be putting crackers in both of these. But I'll get a chance to do that when I get into the Polish and Lithuanian rations that I have coming up in the next few weeks. Check the chat, see if I missed anything. Yep, maybe people are actually eating their own dinner while I'm eating mine. I do like the size of the mushroom pieces in this. I'm curious to know if the mushrooms in this were a deal breaker. Why this one might have been pulled, because I have not seen this one in newer MRE lineups, and I have watched videos of people going through entire cases of different years. And I have not seen this roast beef in any of those. So I don't know if the beef stew replaced it. Maybe that would be on MRE info. But that might be worth digging into. Oh, Pete, that's a bummer. Yeah, my mom has had issues with that, so with that and other things, she has to be very careful about her food as well. And one of my sisters does her shopping for her, since my mom does not drive, and she cannot walk up the hill to leave the apartment property, let alone go across the street to the Aldi store that's there. So my sister takes my mom's method of payment, and the list goes and does the shopping, brings the stuff back, and helps my mom put everything away. So far, that's been a very good arrangement, and that has worked well. You know, she helps my mom work out the budget and, you know, helps her check to make sure that the bills are actually going through. There is James Ortiz in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So tonight, 2012, menu 6, beef roast with vegetables. And I happen to have a beef stew. So I decided to do a comparison between the two. So this is the beef stew that we're all familiar with. And this is that beef roast. It was a bigger chunk. It was probably a little bit longer than this this packet here, and it was probably as wide as it was almost as wide as the snack bread, but I've cut it up. So I wanted to do a comparison between this and this is the beef stew. And this does have more of that beef stew taste, but sometimes I can pick up a little bit of a tang, but then this has more of it. So the gravy is slightly different in this. The vegetables in here are a little bit softer. And this has mushrooms. And I do not find mushrooms in the beef stew. Yes, I'm going to be eating both of these. This one did not have a cold drink. It had a cocoa mix. And it had the type 3 coffee. And I substituted my own sugar for the Splenda because I don't do those sweeteners. And this is a toffee chunk cookie, and I crumbled most of it up and put the berry cobbler on top of it and actually warmed that up. And that tastes and feels more like a cobbler than just this stuff by itself, just the berries in the sauce. Although these cobblers are really good otherwise. And this is that chocolate peanut spread. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit more of it right here. I kneaded it up pretty good, but it can still have some denser lumps in there. So far, this is still a pretty enjoyable meal. I wish Aletha was in here to see me dig into this one, but she can catch the replay when she's able to. She probably has to work tonight. That's probably why she's not in here. She's not in the Ration Museum stream earlier because sometimes she frequents that. She was in Smokey's chat last night. But between these two, I would probably still favor the beef stew, even though the meat is a little bit more processed. Some of the vegetables are not as soft as in this. And if this meat were a little bit more like a real slab of roast beef, I think this would be pretty darn awesome. Yeah, I mean, this one with a tiny bit of a tang to it. And this one with your standard beef stew flavor. I mean, you really can't go wrong with either one. I just wish that they had put the crackers in here instead of this bread, but this bread is still perfectly edible. I haven't had any issues with it. Other than the fact that it is pretty dang dry. But since I'm having beef tonight, I will probably go to one of my other rations that has chicken because I have several that have chicken. One of my Lithuanian rations has chicken in it. And I got, I think my ration, my MRE 1776, I would have to look at it again. course, I had chicken last week with that Dub C Megabyte. I really enjoyed that one too. Apparently that one was not a big hit with people. So that one also was from 2012. Aletha had given me that one earlier. She thought I would enjoy it, and I did. It would have been nice to actually see and feel the bits of feta, but you know, when it's cooked, it just melts like any other cheese or most other cheeses. But I really enjoyed it. Yeah, that one might be a little more difficult to find. I don't know if it didn't have as long of a run as some of the other menus from that time. But if you like that kind of a flavor profile, yeah, go for it. Try to find it. Yeah, it is salty. Yeah, when you go buy feta cheese at the store, it is stored in a salt brine. When I worked in a Greek restaurant years ago, we went through so many buckets of that feta. And we got it by the 5-gallon bucket, and there would be these blocks that would be as big as this plate, minus the handle, of course. And probably about maybe that tall. Those are some pretty good sized blocks of feta that we use, because we were putting it on the salads. We put it in some of the entrees. So yeah, we went through a lot of that, and of course we dumped a lot of that brine down the drain. And had I been a prepper back then, I would have been nipping those buckets, and I would have been nipping those olive barrels when we emptied those, because we got the column out of olives by the barrel. It's probably like a 3-gallon barrel. That's how we got those olives. I would have had a lot of buckets. Yeah, I currently have my queso fresco in my freezer, and when I take it out to look at it, it's not white anymore, but I'm still going to use it. I'm not sure how I'm going to use it, but I am going to use it. Now that takes care of the entrees. I am going to try a bit of this spread on this chunk of the cookie. See how it goes. So this is a piece of the toffee cookie with the chocolate peanut spread on it. Chicago in the house, thanks for dropping in. And Carla is here. I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way since I'm done with that. But for you two who just joined in, 2012 menu 6, beef roast with vegetables. And I busted out a beef stew pouch. And I heated that up so I can compare the two. And then the toffee chunk cookie, I put underneath the cobbler, the berry cobbler, which I warmed up. And this is the way to eat this stuff. Yeah, the Dollar Tree prices went up here in Iowa at the beginning of this month. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, some stores may have done it at different times, but they are going up. And from a lot of the videos that I've seen, the quantity of product you get is still less. They're doing to a lot of things, like when I did my last grocery haul videos, the Dawn dish soap would not have been filled as high as you saw it, because I had a little bit left in another bottle that I was using out of, and I just emptied it into that one that I bought, just so I can get that other bottle out of my hair, so to speak, in the trash and out of here. And then that Coleman butane gas can was not a full 8 ounces. It may not seem like much, but for that, 1/4 of an ounce would be equivalent to maybe enough burn time to boil some water to purify it, or to heat it for coffee, or dehydrated or freeze-dried food. Now, those cans used to be a full 8 ounces. Yeah, most of the time I buy the store brand. Say either like from the Hy-Vee brand or the Walmart, the Great Value brand. But the store brand just was not available when I bought that one, so I bought the Dawn. And it was basically an ounce or two less than normal, or what it used to be. Or they like the ones that you would use for one of those pocket rocket type stoves. Or are they the slender cans that you use for a different type of a stove? Yeah, there are two different types of those cans that you connect to a stove. I don't know how. I know Hy-Vee extends into some of the surrounding states. They are based in West Des Moines. Which is a suburb of Des Moines. But that's where I buy some stuff. And when I was at Walmart, I saw no paper bowls whatsoever. I saw a few packs of the styrofoam bowls, but I did not want those. I wanted the actual paper bowls. So I ended up buying a pack of straws instead. I don't use the paper bowls or plates much, but I store them because I want to be able to have something to fall back on in case I have to conserve my water and use disposables instead of washing and reusing. We used to have a Save-A-Lot here, but I would have to take 2 buses to get over there. And I never went there very often. It's something else now, so I don't know what it is. I have not taken a bus by there in quite some time. And I normally don't go to Aldi either because, again, I would have to take 2 buses to get over there. And we used to have another Iowa-based store chain called Dahls, D-A-H-L-S, Dahls Foods. But all those stores either got converted into, there's one called Price Chopper, and then there's another one called, they just call it Money Saver. I've only gone into one of the Price Choppers. I haven't gone into one of the Money Savers. On a rare occasion, I'll go to a Fairway. But that, again, is 2 buses to get over there. And the second one takes quite a while to get over there. Of course, I have to take 2 buses when I go to Walmart, but I just don't do it all the time, but I really do want to get into other stores. And I have not been into a Dollar Tree for quite some time. We have Family Dollar and Dollar General, but I don't go into those stores much either. Now, we don't have a Trader Joe's here. We have a Whole Foods in the area, but I can't get over there because it's not close enough to a bus stop. And then we have another one called Gateway Market. And I would have to walk several blocks from a bus stop to get to that one too. So I just don't go there. And of course, you can buy whole foods through Amazon and have it delivered. But if you have an EBT card or, SNAP card, you cannot use it to buy from Whole Foods that way. You have to go into the store to use it. Just an FYI for anyone who watches this who might have a SNAP EBT card. But one thing on Amazon that you can do with it is buy seeds of plants that produce food. Certain fruit and vegetable seeds and herb seeds. Augustin Farms has a garden seed can. You can use the SNAP EBT card to buy that Augustin Farms seed can. The rest of this I'll just suck out of the pouch later. So I thought someone might be interested in knowing that. Let's see. I wouldn't know about Supermarket Sweep because I don't own a TV. I used to own a TV, but then the local phone company here, I used to bundle my DirecTV service and my Verizon cell service. They they split off my Verizon account. They killed my DirecTV account, even though I was paying the bill. And then I was down to the internet, the DSL, and they kept throttling me. So then when I moved over here, I had, again, issues with the DSL. So I went to Mediacom, which is the cable provider here. But I only have the internet. I don't have a TV service. I don't have the phone service. I got my cell phone, so I don't feel I need a landline. Well, that might explain why the Save-A-Lot here closed. When those other stores closed, it's probably when they were killing the Save-A-Lots. I wouldn't travel 75 miles just to go to a grocery store. even if I could drive. But since I don't drive, I stick to where I can go by bus. I wonder if they were like a BJ's or Sam's Club or Costco. The only reason why I know about BJ's Wholesale Club, even though we don't have them here in Iowa, is when I worked for a door company in their customer service department, BJ's sold our company's doors. And so I would get calls from people wondering where they can buy them. So, the internet was pretty bare bones basic at the time. But I still could get into a database search by their zip code and say, you got BJ's here, you got a Home Depot or a Lowe's or one of the more local stores, like here in the Midwest states, we have Menards. And until Lowe's came in, we only had Home Depot and Menards, but we got Lowe's. We got Ace Hardwares, but they never sold the MCO doors. But yeah, that's how I know about BJ's. We have Sam's Club, which I am a member, and I will probably have to renew my membership in the next couple of months, I think. Which I plan on doing. And we have Costco, but that's too far from a bus stop, so I don't bother with that. I would like to check out Costco, but someone would have to take me over there. Yeah, that's from what I've seen on some channels where the person goes into a Costco and shows the prices or shows what they got from Costco and how much it costs. If they were able to get away with shooting video in the store. I have never tried that. I'm not sure if I could get away with it or not. So I just haven't taken the risk of doing it. And I'm not sure if I want to do that right now. But yeah, I should go into a Sam's Club and just see what prices are like in there. But I'm pretty sure those prices have gone up too. Yeah, I think BJ's is more of a regional thing, not as big as Sam's Club or Costco. I watch a channel. She lives in the Northeast, and she has gone into a BJ's in her area. She hasn't shot video in there, but she would show what she got from a BJ's when she does one of her grocery haul videos. I've heard Meijer is spelled Meijer is what I've seen, but they pronounce it Meyer. When I first saw it, I think it's like major, but it's pronounced Meyer. I'm guessing that is a German word. We do not have Meijer here, so I wouldn't know what that's like, but I have watched videos of people who have a Meijer in their area, and that's where they go for some of their stuff. Yeah, that's what I've heard about that Meijer, is it's pretty pricey. We used to have an Albertsons here, but they were kind of iffy. I really didn't like that store. Their layout was stupid. I mean, you go in there and there would be dish soap next to dog food, and there would be like laundry soap in the hardware section, but yet the fabric softener might be in with toilet paper or garbage bags or some weird thing like that. So I found that store rather confusing, and I used to have to take 2 buses to go over there, so I just quit bothering with it. And then it closed up several years ago, and that building now belongs to the state. Yeah, there's one channel that I watch occasionally. I'm not subscribed, but one of the stores that he's gone into is called Superfoods. But supposedly it's a budget-friendly store, but not always. I mean, it's just like everywhere else. But one store I do like going to, I just don't go there very often, even though it's relatively close. It's called La Tapatía, and that is the largest Hispanic grocery store in the city. We have some smaller ones, which would be more like a bodega, just like a small mom and pop neighborhood shop. We have a few of those, but La Tapatía is a full-size store. And then we have one called C's Fresh Market, which is kind of a fusion store. You have Hispanic-themed items, you have Asian items, and occasionally you will get Middle Eastern-type items. But C's Fresh Market is a bit overpriced. But they do have the G7 coffee, which I like to get. That's my go-to camp coffee. You know, it's already it's a 3-in-1 individual packets. Some people don't like it, but there are quite a few of us that do like it. You know, some others that I have camped with here, they like it. Although when we're doing group camps, we usually have a regular old percolator going, and we'll put just regular ground coffee in it. Yeah, the Aldi here, at least I have been in one store since they have changed their layout, but it's been several months since I was in there. maybe over a year. And the other one I have not been in for several years, so I don't know what it's like. But maybe when I do my shopping next month, I should go to Aldi. And see what I can get there. Because in the past, I have found some very unique items in there that I have liked. I have never heard of the Vina Cafe. But it does sound interesting. I have a couple of those coffee pods. It's in one of those boxes of stuff or bags of stuff that Aletha gave me. And one coffee pod, it's basically like an oversized tea bag but with coffee in it. It's one of those that you would find in a hotel room. That you put the pod into the coffee maker and it has enough capacity to brew that pod, and then that's it. You just ditch the whole thing when you're done. I guess make it easy for the occupant of the room. You don't have to worry about measuring coffee. You don't have to worry about cleaning out coffee grounds unless you bust a pod. Bust it open. But I do have one of those. It's enough to make 4 standard servings. And then one of those pour overs where you open up the little thing, you stick it on over the sides of the cup, and then you pour the water through it a little bit at a time. I showed one of those. I think one time last year I did one. I have the other one that was given to me at the same time or sent to me, and then I have a different one. But right now I have those in a bag that I use to keep all my stuff in for camping. I have one of those dry bags that you roll at the top and then close it. And it keeps stuff dry inside. But I have one that I use for my food when I go camping, like my dry food or non-perishable stuff. Like I keep my G7 coffees in there. I keep some drink powders in there. Those 2 packets of the mac and cheese, I have those in there. And I got some oatmeal packets in there. So basically, I got stuff in there for my next trip. Whenever that might be. So I know for sure I'm going to be camping in March with some other Iowa YouTubers, and we'll go to the same place where I was in November. Oops, sorry about that. Give my cocoa one little bit of a stir again. Well, great score, Pete. That was a great score. Yep. I'm probably going to go ahead and hang this stuff too, since I've eaten all the food. I mean, I have the gum, which I'm not a gum chewer, but I save all these. And of course, I'm saving the salt. And I'm saving the Splenda because I will give that to someone else who actually uses those things. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call this one good. I do want to thank you all for watching, and next Sunday I might go Polish because I have a Polish ration, one of those in the green bag, like the SRG type thing. And then I have a couple of Lithuanians. I may pull one of those. And I also have a Norwegian Arctic field ration. I might pull that one, so I don't know. Anyway, I will post that up, whatever I decide, next time. And then the week after that, I will do the last 2012 MRE that I have. The other US MREs that I have are 2019s. Or maybe 2020. I'm not sure. I'd have to look up on dates of those that have dates on them, but... and I have that other halal MRE that will get mixed in. So that one will be coming up in probably sometime next month. I'm not sure yet, but anyway, I do want to thank you all for watching. Again, thanks to Aletha for giving me this one to chow down on. I'm glad I got to try this menu because I thought it was rather unique. And, you know, I wanted to compare it with the beef stew, and I happened to have the beef stew entree, so I pulled it. So, again, thanks all for watching, and catch you on the flip side.